Hello and welcome back to Tyranny and the adventures of the most interesting character in the game. You have a way with words, Irene. Were you instructed on how to speak with others? Of course, one of the only good things that came out of my time with Kairos was my education. My teachers insisted I be trained on proper way to speak with the royal court. I was frequently mistaken for someone older, so I think I got away with a lot more than I could have ever otherwise. For all their failings, they made sure I was properly educated. My favorite class was learning how to talk to people, into doing what you wanted, without using magic. Can you believe that? Yes, actually, it's called psychology. Why in the world would you risk it? It was a fascinating subject. Could you teach me some tricks? Certainly, Fate Binder. I don't remember how much of my training I will remember, but I'm sure I could help you. Do you know anything about what's going on in the tiers? I know a great deal about what's going on here, considering I'm the root cause of all the last half of it. What do you want to know? How long have you been here? Since the beginning of the occupation. Wasn't that 300 years ago? Kairos wanted me out of sight, but still in use, so I was given to Nerad. It used me to gather fodder and course. Out of legend, for centuries the Overlord has consulted power, sending vast armies to swallow entire realms. Most powerful mystics in the world has ever seen. Kairos can issue edicts, magical proclamations, yada yada yada. I think it started 300 years ago or something like that. He's not that powerful, she. Anyway, what do you think about Tannen? He makes me uncomfortable. There's nothing behind that mask. It's dark and empty. What do you mean? Everyone has a presence. It's how my magic works. I can reach into them and convince their presence to do what I want. He's no presence. When I reached into him, there was nothing. It was black. I never wanted to feel that again. How did you influence entire armies to do what you want? I can't influence an army, but I can persuade them to feel the way I want them to. If I wanted to get someone to do a specific thing for me, I have to get inside their head, and then requires a lot of more effort. No one can keep me out, but if they're aware of what I'm doing, I can't force them to do anything. At least not with the thing on my head. She knocks a hand against her helmet. Really, I don't know how it works, I just does. You might as well ask me where lightning comes from. Except that we actually do know where lightning comes from, you idiot. Okay. I want to know about Kairos. How did you come to work for him? After my father betrayed me and got my mother killed, I was taken to Kairos. Man, I honestly don't know where we went, other than it seemed to take forever to get there. Then I was put into school. It was wonderful, a horrible time. I learned how to control and maximize my power. But they underestimated my abilities, overestimated theirs. I think it was more the latter than the former. They unleashed my true power. Did they believe I wouldn't try to run with it? They tried to train and mold me, and in that they succeeded. They also tried to brainwash and break me, and in that they failed spectacularly. But I was punished for it. How were you punished, actually? They want to cut out my tongue, they wanted hate. I didn't blame them, it's what I would have done. But Carol said no, doing possibly the one kind act she ever did for me. Or for the entire world, for that matter. Without the power of speech, I was essentially useless. Yeah. So that muzzled me. They knew simply holding my mouth shut wasn't going to be sufficient, so they got creative. Using sage magic, they put my voice in stasis when I wasn't in class. I could go through the motions of speech, but nothing came out. Oh, did they take pleasure in it? Between classes they gave me chores. They berated me. They beat me. I was their slave. The only reason I lived was by Carol's whim, but I was tortured by everyone else too, my lord. That sucks. There were at least 2 teachers in my classes after the incident, and I was always accompanied by 2 guards, both of whom had been defended, so I couldn't fight them. I accidentally killed one of the men and they were acting like I destroyed a realm. I suppose what they thought I'd do next, and who knows, maybe that's what I'm about to do. Why were you punished? They assumed my abilities were exaggerated. They were powerful mages who had spent years training at their art. How could a little girl ever hope to rival their powers? I grew out their condensation, hated them for treating me like a child, their rules, their discipline, their training. They had killed my mother and I would make them pay for it. Okay, now we know that your mother has died 3 separate deaths apparently. One day I got bored in class. The teacher's drumming voice was putting me to sleep in the afternoon heat, so I thought I'd have a little fun. He was distracted and he let his defenses down. He didn't consider me a threat. How do you know his defenses were down? I can just feel it. If someone's alert or aware of what's going on, it's a lot harder to get inside. And I know when they're vulnerable. I know how to take advantage of opening and climb right in. I started humming nothing that would attract his attention, of course. A lullaby my mother sang to me, fitting, I thought, to invade his man's mind. With a song taught to me by a woman they destroyed. I could tell I had gotten inside him when he slowed down ever so slightly. I started singing wordlessly, standing working in hand motion. They were completely unnecessary, but I had been trained to be a performer. Huh. Let him work in my words. The window, I sang to him. Look, what's at the window? He turned, entranced, and stared outside, his mouth moving slightly as he dreamed an answer to my question. What's out there? I asked him through my song. What could that be? I was elated. The fool had left himself alone and vulnerable, and this 8-year-old had dominated his mind. He walked to the window intensely, staring at someone I couldn't see. You made him jump, didn't you? Of course I didn't mean for him to fall. He was looking out the window and reached up, as if to touch whatever he was looking at, and before I could stop him, he was gone. Looked like he was trying to catch something as he fell from sight. Well, that must have been a very tall building then. I won't say I'm sorry he died. He was a horrible man, but I didn't mean to do it. However, I was elated. The taste of power was intoxicating. I didn't get to taste it again for a long time. Okay, what was life like with Chaos? For several years, I was surrounded by people who would smile to my face, a sneer when I turned away. They were supposed to be my mentors, my teachers, but all they did was reset me. They taught me to refine and control my voice. My powers became more directed, more powerful, more subtle. I no longer needed specifically say what I wanted people to do. I could just think what I wanted, how I felt, and the weaker the mind, the faster they would respond. It still required me to sing, or at very last make music with my voice. But I could say one thing, but mean something else entirely. The magic worked. Everything was done for Cairo's edification. They asked me to sing for signs of her power. I was used to bring them about. People praised my name to the extent that was allowed. But if the forces of adoration ever truly pointed towards me, it was quickly stifled. Okay. I didn't see much of Kairos. She was busy taking care of her affairs, but I was never allowed to forget by whose power I was allowed to exist. I was paraded around like a new Joe, and since I had real power, it took a while for the luster to fade. But when I tarnished, I corrided through, and when I stopped being a pleasant distraction, it was passed off to Narat, to be forgotten. How long did you work for Kairos? 5 years. 2 years of dedicated training. 2 years with training interspersed with travel, performing miracles in Kairos' name, then a year being his pet. Well, you're better off now. What do you think of Kairos? Honestly, I didn't really think of him at all at the first. Her, you know, we tried to establish that Kairos was a woman. Or did we completely forget about this little detail that everyone seems to mention every now and then? If I wasn't getting daily reminders that he owed me and could have me killed any time he wanted, I would have completely forgotten he existed. You caught Kairos, both him and her. Did I? How clumsy of me. Must have been a slip of the tongue. Is he a man or a woman? You really don't know, do you? What a fascinating. I assumed Fatebinder would have been given an audience with him. Her. Him. It doesn't seem like she'd let you perform actions in his name without speaking to you. That's part of the mystic, isn't it? If your enemies don't know anything about you, how can they properly plan? So why would Kairos let anyone out that he didn't want the world to know? Tell me, Siren. No, a lady has to keep some secrets. This is going to be mine. It feels good to have some power in this relationship. It's not going to matter once you defeat him, anyway. She'll be gone. You know, how can you be both so adorable, so annoying at the same time? It's just a miracle. You're an anomaly of future. Okay. What can you tell me about the Scarlet Chorus? I've never talked to another chorus member in my entire life. I will consider it a success. Hint, hint. No matter what else happens, she folds her arms across her chest and those gazes at you. And I'm thrilled to turn your attendant success into constant failure. I try to talk to you more often. Yeah, but she can control your mind-verse, so stop it. Oh, first, I think that helps numb me to the dorming sound of your voice. Now, do you mind? I'm speaking with a Fatebinder. Yes, she's more interesting than you. You weren't a member of the chorus. What? Absolutely not. The only reason I work with them is because I was being forced to. Once Kairos had his monstrosity placed on my head, I really had no choice. I'm not powerful enough to force them to let me go, and they had the numbers to overwhelm me if I tried anything, so I didn't want I was told. Until you showed up. What was working with them? Well, at first I was treated like a queen. I spent all my time recruiting. Let's be honest, the Scarlet Chorus isn't choosy, so it was easy to convince people to join. Toward the end, I actually started fearing them for my life. With the thing on my head, I couldn't effectively control the enemy and the entire army, so having me was quite an intelligent thing for Kairos to do. If anyone had realized they couldn't hold all of them back, I would have been in big trouble. Your little stone veteran well couldn't have come at a better time. And what is it that you think of them? I'm sorry, what happened? I have thought my look and disgust kind of answered that question, Fatebinder. They're a worthless, hopeless, disorganized bunch of savages who soon will tear themselves apart from the inside. And their methods? They randomly grab anyone and anything they can get their hands on and hope they'll work if they beat them enough. Sounds like the makings of a fantastic army to me. No, actually it sounds like the complete opposite of an organized army. I am repulsed by them and everything they do. Now it is a disgusting excuse for a leader, and I look forward to the day I can watch his life drain from his insane eyes. Yes, Narad, you are a scoundrel with no valor. With no valor, I say, sir! Yes, you've been clear enough, thank you. Talk about something else. And what do you know about the disfavored? I really don't know much about them, Fatebinder. I never got a chance to work with them, so I don't think too much help on this topic. What do you want to know? Gavanash? He seems capable enough, he's organized and truly seems to care about his men, contrary to particularly everyone else I met here. Have you seen them in action? Briefly, a few times battled during the Kairos conquest, but Nerat liked to keep me locked up right, so I never got a good look at them, fight them. Never work with them. Not directly. I have been used to inspire people occasionally, and disfavored were in those groups, but if you're looking for anything merit from me on the disfavored, I'm going to be much use to you. Oh, sorry to hear that. What about the other groups in the tiers? Who do you want my opinion on? Well, the largest spanning beast tribe in the entirety of the tiers, the Stone Takers of Azure, nearly tripled in population during periods of domestication and forced labor in service of the farmers and ranchers of the realm. However, like all beasts, the Stonewalkers were born wild and yearned for rage-free, unfettered by human within their own homeland. In ancient times, the tribe was known as the Middlewinkins, but they were denied a name during their centuries of enslavement. In the turmoil created by Kairos' invasion of the tiers, the conquest of Azure, the beasts rebelled and won their freedom, drawn to the enigmatic presence of Kairin, Archon of Stone. The beast took the name Stone Stalker as their own. After Kairin defeated them, Kairos proclaimed the Edict of Stone on Azure, creating the Stone Sea. Stone Stalkers retreated into the wilds. The humans who have since encountered on their territory have been slaughtered. Yeah, tell me about them. Not even worth my attention, of course. That's why I read it in my dramatic voice, in case you're wondering. A beast is a beast, and you can't ever make an animal be anything more than what it is. If it can speak and think, then it's not exactly an animal. In fact, I like animals more than people sometimes. What can you tell me the local rebel groups? The Bronze Brotherhood. They are not the most helpful people. They seem like they want what's best for Linden's Cross, and plus it was a lot easier for me to recruit my own followers with them around. Didn't have to worry about anyone being taken by the Scarlet Chorus or killed by the Disfavored. The Unbroken. I haven't had much exposure to them. Ash was intent on dealing with that problem, so they didn't ask for my help. And the Venturing Guards? They are even still pertinent. After the events of Venturing Well, I would have thought no one would want to talk to them anymore. And the Mage Guild. Generally, I don't like throwing in with the other mages. I've not had a good experience with them in the past, so I keep my distance. And they're so demanding, you ask them, very nicely I might add, how to cast a spell, and they insist they are not charity and they are not going to hand over their secrets out of the goodness of their heart. Okay, you can purchase scrolls for literally 1 gold. Okay, right, like there was anything good about that one. And I didn't even use my magic on him. That's gratitude for you. She fell off and gave you an intent look. Suddenly, your head feels like it's too small for your brain. She closes her eyes and takes breath, and the feeling is place. Next? The Forge Bound. Those guys are important. The group that Kairos used to make my hobo. The less I have to think about them, the better. They might be craftsmen, but unless they craft me a way out of this prison, I'll let them deal with them, thank you. The Earthshakers. Incredibly powerful but strangely focused on their studies. Why would you want to pour your energy into a thing and punch out? The magic they are missing on is incredible. And the sages? I can't say I'm too happy with them since it was their magic that bound my voice when I was a child, but they are an influential group with infinite knowledge. At least they were. Can you imagine how powerful you could become if you had access to their collections? Well, that's it for now.
What do you need?
What do you think about running
Are
companions?
we trading in gossip now, Fatebinder? Or are you collecting information to use against us? What do you want to know about?
What do you think about Landry?
I'm jealous of him. I've heard so much about the Vellum Citadel, and he actually got to see it before all the unpleasantness.
Cool.
The sheer amount of power lost that day is only dwarfed by the amount of power required to cause the destruction, and the power to stop it. The sages have my respect. And, by extension, Lantry. Although, I'm not overly happy it was sage magic they used to bind my tongue when I was a child. I can hardly hold him responsible for that.
How kind of you, my lady. It's heartening to hear that someone of your immense station considers a lowly sage like me to be worthy of your attention.
Although not all sages are necessarily worthy of praise. Some are a little overly fond of excesses, of one kind or another.
Worse. No, let's talk about Imp.
She's got some power in there, that's for sure. And as long as I'm crippled, I will, begrudgingly mind you, admit she could probably win if we were pitted against each other. Though I suppose I should watch myself around her. You never know how people will react to a challenge.
And worse. We know exactly how she will react to a challenge.
That bitch? I'd walk her off the spire if I knew I could get away with it. I don't know why you even waste your time with her.
Wow, she's right next to you, you know.
Oh, don't give me that look, Verse. I'm not gonna pretend to like someone I don't. At least you know where I stand. Subterfuge is so low class.
Oh. Thanks, because that's my strongest skill.
Trust me, you manipulative worm. The feeling is mutual. And I find it ironic that you find subterfuge low class, considering how you get inside people's minds and fuck them over.
Wow. She is definitely outclassing you, Verse.
If I could get away with it, I'd put a blade inside that pretty little head of yours and twist until your mind was as scrambled as those you invade.
Charming.
How vivid.
Makes a little see what I mean? Gesture at Verse.
She's rude.
Right, so she's rude, violent, base implant, entirely pointless. You should keep much better company, Fatebinder. You ask me what I thought, I can't help it, facts are painful to swallow.
What do you need?
What is there to say? Kara's two major leaders can't stop themselves of their armies from fighting like a bunch of children. Neither of them seem capable of dealing with the rebels that are taking them down, which as far as I'm concerned is how it should be. The last of the years infected Kairos, better. If we could eliminate the armies entirely, I would consider that a true victory. And the adepts? Anything I say would be a wild guess. That's why I'm with you. You seem to have a connection to the power of land, far beyond anything the Archons are capable of. It intrigues me. I want to learn what it is that harnesses it. Sadly, I don't have the magic needed to enact a break an edict. At last, my current state, maybe you got this helmet off my head. I would remove it if I could. Just because escape is futile doesn't mean the prisoner is going to give up trying. It doesn't hurt to ask. You must know something about the edicts. Think that, would you? With all my training and education left a very big void, you know, almost like it was intentional.
What do you need?
Nothing. Oh dear. Okay, let's see. So if we, oh sorry, give you this. Yeah, you can't wear a helmet and some gloves. Do you want to try those on for size?
Oh, I can't wait to try this out.
Yeah, that's why I want to see how you would react to an artifact. Deflection and recovery goes up. This one actually looks good on you, for some reason. Can't say why. Cannot hide her helmet though. Which is sad. Okay. Arm penetration by attack when inflicting crits. Critical deflection, hit precision. I don't know how you fight actually. Damage per second goes up. I need to see what you're trained in. Bronze javelin, bronze dagger. So that's the most expensive weapon we have. Is that one-handed? Two-handed. Path of Roses. This name of the bow originated from a thorny bumble wielded only by the brave. I think we've read that. Well, we need to find you some boots. That'd be nice. There. Okay. Do you have any one-handed shields that you can use? You can use this hammer. What are your skills? Song. Dual vocation. To mastery her voice with air. How many points do you have actually? You have more than enough. Peace and War. Party resolve, extending the duration of their helpful effects, gathering them increased damage party. So she's the cipher of the group. 15 points. Oh my. Her lore is amazing. She can become very powerful. But that's gonna be off camera. Let's explore Vendrian well, then breath. Oh, okay. And we enter. Some things and other things, and nothing really important here. How do you hide those sticks there? It doesn't matter. Not how, why? Maybe they were under the bed. But you're definitely clicking on the sheet, so I don't know. Hey, this for you. You know, I really need to give her the artifact that Ab uses. Man, that would really be cool. Okay. And we run. You can enter those two doors and this one as well. Biotish. Right, inside we go. Hello, pathetic peasants!
No one will see me.
Bronze Cathar. It's bronze. Don't know if you're gonna use it correctly. Let's see, can I like the cape on the back, it actually makes it look nice. White and yellow. Okay. Alright, we didn't give a medallion or something. You know, you can have this and this. They're satisfied. This gives you immunity to poisons. Here, have this, it gives you quickness. Critical deflection, hit precision.
It's all in the reflexes.
Yeah, you say that, though I'm the one who unlocked it. Armor +3. Those boots are amazingly cool. Okay. Let's speak with Pedra. A bright-faced woman greets you as you approach. Welcome to Lindren's Crossing, Wanderer. My name is Pedra, and this is my beautiful wife, Dea. She indicates a stone-faced blonde woman standing next to her, who holds up her hand in quick greeting. What brings you to town? I'm here. Is there anything I can help you with? What's it like having scarlet corals here? I avoid them at all possible. They are particularly brutal, and everything sets them off. I would be much happier with someone else in charge. Except the Brotherhood. I would run twice under the Scarlet Boot the rest of my life than have a look at a single member of the Brotherhood again. What can you tell me about Linden Crossing? I've lived here most of my life, but honestly, I'm sure there's much to say. We're a center of trade and waypoint for traverse. The walls are a little scary, but you get used to them over the time. What about you, Dia? What's there to say? The town is alright, but living under the thumb of an occupying forces makes it hard to truly relax. Sorry, we could be more help. You haven't always lived here. Several years before Kairos invasion, I moved away from London Crossing, being the granddaughter of a Landian. Came with responsibility I wasn't ready for. I met Dea in the Bastard City and decided to stay for a while. We were living in the Bastard City when we heard about Kairos forces moving to the tiers, so we took that as our motivation to move. I think we got out of there at just the right time. We traveled a bit with a couple of caravans, but nothing really seemed like home until I returned to London's Crossing. You never realized how much you can miss a place until you've been away for a while. But I could live anywhere as long as this one's with me. It's true, trade hasn't been as valuable here recently. I'm not gonna turn out to be Kairos in the end, am I? And I'm sure it's simply a temporary setback. Merchants will sing and dance for you, trying to convince you their suppliers are unaffected, but everyone is feeling good. We have faith the world will set itself right soon. Enough people call it fool, but I don't see a benefit in demoting your fate. You take what life hands to you and make it work. You're a Landian granddaughter. One of many, I suspect, but I'm the only one anyone knows about. And before you ask, no, Eldian is not my father. Maybe you haven't heard, but my grandmother wasn't exactly the settling down type. Thank you for your time. Anytime, traveler. If you need anything else, just let me know. Just come into my house uninvited and we can speak again. And you? Hello, traveler. I like your wife. You two are just perfect for each other. Both of you are weak, and not very intelligent. Ah, the outside world awaits. Did we visit this house? I don't remember. Let's go up. Bjortus. Okay, let's enter here. Hello, people with not very interesting stories, I'm pretty sure. This wall appears to have been damaged years ago, but was never properly repaired. Wait, what? Red runs our blood, not in combat. Man, I really want to test this mechanic out a little bit. Ah, a great bow and iron gauntlets. Yeah, you can have both of them. And you know that your Masterworks bow is a little bit better than absolutely everything we can find. And those are the same gloves, apparently. Bronze dagger. Hey, would you like to carry a dagger with you? Wow, you actually do less damage with that thing. Still can't decide how to train you though. Well, we'll see in the end. Okay. Bjortus. I believe we did enter this. Well, I'll see later on, I'm pretty sure. Welcome, friend. What brings you to my humble trade post? Aren't you the guy who serves me currently? Have a certain something in mind or just browsing? Show me what you have for sale. Most certainly, have a look. A forge-bound hammer. It's common. Apprentice rope. Sigil of fire. We already know this. We don't know this though. Volcanic weapon accent. For 7 gold. It's a deal. Sigil of volcanic weapon. Extended uses of fire to cause material force spell to damage foes in line. Gimme! Wait, what was that? A con? Charm straight? Yep. No, it's not this one. Froze? Bleeding. And electricity, of course. Blood magic. She has a lot of lore. We do remember why we are here, right? Settlers. There's a magnifying glass here. This is the eastern waterfall, through which carried down along the settler believe that the waterfall splits. Man, it will be amazing to get up that tower. It seems like it's going to be amazing to check the view. Forge-bound merchant. You the forge-bound merchant here? More certainly a look. Oh. We were looking for a helmet, I do believe. Core. No. Let's walk in then. Maybe that needs to go. So. Master Forge, Master Casting. Hello. Master, the Fate Binder is here. Zdenia turns and approaches you. Her lips Oh, I'm sorry, her light body moving furiously as she walks. She stops before you, her stance solid and sure, but you see she's standing lightly on her feet, ready to move if necessary. She never takes her eyes off of you, but you know she's actually aware of her surroundings. Fatebinder. May the fires of your forge never cool. I had hoped our paths would cross. Word has reached my ears that your hand in removing the Edict of Storms in Sentinel Stand Keep. That was no small feat, I would ask. I would ask you, did it? But I'm sure you have more important things to talk about. 9 years leading the Forge Bound, I have never heard of a Fatebinder accomplishing something of such significance. It is an honor to meet someone of such distinguished speed. What can the Servant of Flame do for you? Well, what have you brought to protect Linden Crossing? I've named it Megbane Helm. I forged it specifically to protect her Forge Bound from Bane of Old Wells. With the helm in place, its magic will keep them held inside. Why did you create the helm? The Forge Bound are crafters of weapons and armor, Fatebinder, not statues of bubbles. They make what I know. It is also portable and can be moved easily to use in battle, should its protection be needed elsewhere in the future. For the time being, though, it will remain here protecting the Forge Bound. We have a job to do. We cannot do it properly if we are constantly assaulted by outside forces. I want the helmet. I'm well aware of your reputation as a force to be reckoned with. My hands are tied here, Fatebinder. I have explicit instruction that Megbane be delivered safely to the Old Wells. Huh. Well, what should I say? I am here, I aim to conquer the tears. Would you rather it collect rust in the Old Wells, or be worn by someone who will one day rule the lands? You make a compelling argument, Fatebinder. Be hard-pressed to argue against my work being crowned upon someone as capable as you. But as long as dread and bane within the Old Well remains, I'm afraid the safety of this forge is permanent. If someone managed to do such a task, then I'd happily see the helm put to better use, as long as credit is given to the smith who armed you, of course. You're gonna give me the forge key? An outsider never arrives alone. At least, that is what my mother always said. Seems she never she knew what she was talking about. I am Aldian. Welcome to Lindren's Crossing. Well, if it isn't too announced, Fatebinder. Welcome back to the crossing. Haven't seen you around here since you put the Scarlet Corps in charge of everything. Must say my memory seems to be failing, something I never thought I'd say. The way people talk about how you came through and drove the Brotherhood out of town. You should be 10 feet tall and shoot lightning from your eyes. I can shoot lightning, just not right now, because I still haven't learned the spells. I seem to remember you being a little more human. For instance, who would give the town the Scarlet Corps and then walk it and kill them all? Yeah, that's actually a compelling argument. It will miss the violence and chaos, but one has to wonder why you would switch sides so rapidly. But enough of my puttering. You didn't come here for history lesson, or get any opinion of your grandeur. What can this old fool do for you? Can I ask you some questions about London Crossing? If you have questions about the settlement, I am the one to ask. I have dubious distinction on being the oldest living residence in Linden's Crossing, so I've been here for a lot in history. Eye, hips, hair, earring might be failing, but my mind still remembers everything that happened here. What would you like to know about? I'll do my best not to go too long about it. I know I have problem keeping my conversation short. Tell me about the crossing's history. If you question about going on the crossing, I'm the one to ask. I've been there and more of history than anyone else. What would you like of it? Who was Lendian? The biggest pain in... Okay, I ever knew. I suppose I should talk about my mother. Like that. She was a Medicore merchant, but a great leader. The war in the Northern Kingdom cost her a very lucrative trade route up north, but she managed to earn the trade stewardship from Kairos, and for a short time she had monopoly on grain, salt, and tin. Here in the tears. What did my grandmother say? Give a blind man time and pile of rocks, and eventually he'll hit a target. Not to say she didn't deserve it, but I think luck played a bigger part in her success than actually talent. But Kairos gave, and Kairos takes. The next year Lyndon was stripped of her trade rights. Suddenly she had a large staff, but no goods to trade and no means to pay anyone. But she was stubborn one and knew if she just kept at it, eventually things would turn around for her. She figured the trade goods could come on to us and location was good enough. It's crazy how that would happen. So she decided to concrete on making existing local settlement into the center of commerce for the tiers, and by the close of the best, she did just that. I thought she was crazy choosing a town nestled up to the old well, but apparently she knew what she was doing. It wasn't long after that it was renamed London's Crossing, with the bridges over the old well. This was the only place to go if you wanted to take weeks off your trip. Eventually she hired Bronze Brotherhood to act as our local guard, who were big enough and had enough commerce to warrant the protection. So she was your mother? Of course. How did you think I became a reeve of Crossing? It's certainly not the story telling on charm. I may be the oldest living resident here, but that's certainly not a good enough reason to make someone leader. Well, come to think of it, neither is just being the offspring of a former leader. Ooh, am I sensing rebellion? The wish for republics? Heresy! Burn the witch! But like it or not, that's how things are. My mother was a wonderful woman. She might not have been the nicest person and might have been overfond of diligence here on there, or there, or there, but who isn't? May her rest be ever free of disturbance. So how did you build the old wall bridges? Lennon was the mastermind of that. Okay, she could tie a knot with one hand on a string. I remember watching her draw slides of rope and knots in the sand, telling me what they would do when built. I thought she was crazy. Says she got the idea for bridges from seeing galleys pulled out of the water into the docks. Apparently she heard as part was getting the inside climbing team to brave the old walls and set the first ties, but apparently you can pay a man enough rings for him to overcome his fears of old world predators. Why did you settle here? Necessity. The road bridges led us across the old well. With them it didn't matter what trade rights we had. We'd be at crossroads to the northern tribes. An unbelievable location. The siege of Ardent and the bastard city ended up helping us, all those folks heading to points east crossing through our little settlement, and many of them decided to stake a claim with us. By then Lyndon discovered there was an iron in our veins. She thought it'd make her rich, but it almost made us target. The old folks don't make passage through the area easy, and our bridges cut days to weeks off a trip. Lyndon's Crossing is the best bet to get our shipment where it needs to go. Mix some other load of iron ore into it, and we suddenly had target pinned on us. And Karos's interests, iron, plain and simple. Now we have a fort bound here, toiling away with the ore they pull from the river. We're being squeezed for our resources. If you're after a drink, better to squeeze fruit than stone. And it will seem many people find us to be a very juicy indeed. There was a merchant who tried to peddle iron rocks as magical because they came from seas near the old wells. One of the people he sold to happened to be a disfavored courier. The courier then showed the rock of the forge-bound master, who immediately recognized its potential for making superior weapons. It was brought to Caro's attention, and soon afterwards soldiers and forge-bound came to London Crossing. They came with such fears our options were to either comply with that or with what they wanted or die. And why does the Brotherhood want them? Land, breeding stock. They've been here longer than I have, so maybe they consider it home, but Kairos perceived master are no longer paying them to fight, and if a mercenary is killing for free, something is suspect. In the end, I suppose it doesn't matter. Ritmorn will never let go. He feels he owes this town, and he aims to have it be his. Something else? What can you tell me about the Spire? Oh man, I really need to stop this episode. It's gone long enough. Sometimes I wonder why Lyndon thought it was a good idea to settle here. We already had Bane problem before the Forgebounds. Okay, before Forgebound set up here. Now that they are using the crossing as one of their main forges, the Bane issue is even worse. Since the Bane are drawn to magic energy, we have to be on constant alert for them escaping. That's it. There are Banes in the Outwells. We ask you about some most powerful magic in tiers, and you tell us tidbits of information we already know. Sorry, miss, I wasn't aware it was that important. I've been inside there all of one time in my life. Don't plan on going back ever again. So if you want more information, you need to ask someone else. As my uncle used to say, don't ask a dog what a pig has been up to. I can tell you what I know, nothing more. Okay, that's gonna be where I end the episode, and next time we're gonna continue exploring this place. So, see you then. Goodbye.